Donald Trump survived an assassin's bullet. And now we're getting stunning new details about the security failures that allowed that killer to get a clear shot at the former president. Fox is confirming that local police reported a suspicious man using a rangefinder 30 minutes before the shooting. That local officer even took a picture of him. And we're also, of course, seeing more of those videos of the crowds that spotted the gunman at least 1 minute and 26 seconds before he opened fire. Yet that assassin was still able to fire 8 rounds, just 130 yards from former President Donald Trump. This is Outnumbered, live from Milwaukee. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-hosts Emily Campagno and Kayleigh McEnany. Also joining us, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and Fox News contributor and Washington Times opinion editor Charlie Hurt. First, though, let's get started with David Spunt. Great reporting you've been doing from the Justice Department, and now I understand you have some new information for us, David.
Well, Harris, we do, and we're sifting through a lot of this information, and to be quite frank with everyone, there's a lot of things that don't make sense from multiple different law enforcement agencies, whether it be local or federal, what happened. But we want to show you some video, about 1.5 minutes, of people screaming, warning law enforcement that someone's on the roof with a gun before anyone did anything. Take a look.
He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
What's happening?
So there you go. You can see people warning law enforcement. Fox can confirm the FBI has interviewed more than 100 people, including the local law enforcement officer that saw Thomas Crooks armed on the roof, then retreated away from the scene. Harris, this morning, FBI agents were back on the scene looking at the AGR building where Crooks fired his gun, according to police. We previously reported that local law enforcement was in charge of securing that building, even staging in and around the building, but still missed him on the roof. They were inside the building. He was on the roof. We've confirmed a local police officer reported to Pennsylvania State Police there was a suspicious man at the Trump rally with what appeared to be a rangefinder, possibly binoculars, before the rally began. People reported to police on scene this suspicious person was near magnetometers, pacing around, asking questions, looking suspicious. Sources say that man turned out to be Crooks, who later shot the president and killed Father Corey Compatore, injuring 2 others. Sources tell Fox this AGR building was outside the perimeter and again was the responsibility of the locals. Still, the Secret Service is under increasing pressure to explain how this could have happened. Director Kimberly Cheadle is meeting virtually with with federal lawmakers, I should say, today in Washington to answer for the deadly mistake. Here she is defending her agency.
The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service. It was unacceptable, and it's something that shouldn't happen again.
But Cheadle stopped short of saying that she would resign when asked directly. She will appear before Congress next week. Expect tough questions from both sides. We also know that Thomas Crooks' family is being cooperative, and the FBI continues to pore through his phone in Quantico, Virginia, to see if anybody else knew of his plans before it went down on Saturday. Harris.
David, thank you. I want to get straight to our guests and my co-hosts now. So rangefinder. Emily, I'm going to come to you first. I know this because my husband uses one in golf, actually. It's just a device that estimates distance. It's usually for a camera, can be for a gun, can be for a lot of different reasons. You want to know, well, how many yards away is such and such? How do I aim at that? What does it tell you, the timing of what was going on and how long people say that they saw things, man on the roof, this, that, and the other?
You know, Harris, I don't know if it tells me something in particular because I don't have the law enforcement expertise needed to appropriately analyze this situation. But what it does is reveal a lot of questions that I have as an American who invests faith and invests all my trust in these organizations to protect the highest office and to protect these individuals that we love and hold so dear. And the questions that I have are that if we have the use of technology and demonstrated now at that time, even a half second on air feels like an eternity. We can all attest to that. A half second when we're talking about guns and battle and war and the potential of an assassination, and one that did come to fruition, as you keep reminding us, Harris, rightly so. that means that there was an eternity to potentially stop this person. It raises questions for me, reminding me of the Uvalde situation. I wonder about valor. I wonder about protocol. I wonder about training. I wonder about all of these things that are put into place, because they're supposed to be organizational structures that provide for fail-safes. It's supposed to be in place like overlays, right? So that if someone fails, someone else picks up the slack. So that if this web that has been put into place fails, there's a fail-safe, there's a scaffolding that we can rely on. Exactly. So it raises a lot of questions, Harris.
Ooh, that gave me chills when you talked about the failure of training in Uvalde, because that's a heart punch for all of us. We remember where we were at that time with those children imperiled. Charlie, this is critical. And in excuse me, I have Leslie on the brain. In Lester Holt's interview last night with Joe Biden, there was a back and forth between the two men. The interviewer kind of pressing the president on, well, don't you think it would help if maybe you pushed a little bit for more answers in this investigation? I'm paraphrasing, but that's where they were going.
Yeah, it's amazing. And she says that, you know, the buck stops with her. Well, if the buck stops with her, she should be fired this morning or maybe Sunday morning. You know, it's interesting. I'm not a golfer. I didn't know that the rangefinders are used in golfing. I know for a fact that rangefinders are used for deer hunting because, and I would have said that the primary use of a rangefinder is for shooting distances over about 80 yards or so. And the idea, I would actually call this the single greatest, biggest blunder by the Secret Service in history. It's extraordinary, the number of things that went wrong. And the finger pointing about where the perimeter is and who's responsible, that's all bunk. The idea, you know, Secret Service, the reason we have Secret Service, as Emily just mentioned, is the fact is that this is a very unique sort of security problem that the Secret Service is designed to deal with. The idea that you had a suspicious person walking around the magnometers, anybody who has spent any time around Secret Service, and I've spent a lot of time around them, knows that what they are doing is they're looking for suspicious people. And if you, and just a random citizen walking up and asking an odd, weird question, you're going to get cornered and asked a lot of questions. So the fact that they let this happen is astonishing.
Yeah, the United States Secret Service director, whom you were first talking about, Kimberly Cheadle, I would imagine Kayleigh will have a lot to say in answer to some of the questions. We hope she'll have a lot to say. She'll be on the Hill, at least she's being called to. I had Congressman Mike Waltz on with me last hour. There are many committees now, many led by Republicans, investigating this. What do you make of now a combination? You've got, you know, two sets of things in our lives to go after, getting the answers here.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions. There should be investigations. There is no doubt, let me begin here, that there was a failure. This should have never happened, and we need to identify where that failure was. I spoke to a senior law enforcement official very familiar with presidential protection. And let me just provide some nuance and some detail here. So there's reporting, you heard David Spunt lay it out, that there was a call from a local law enforcement official to a command center. They observed this individual with a rangefinder. There's CBS reporting there were actually 2 calls from local law enforcement into this security center. They call it a command post. I believe what they're meaning by that is the security center on site. Now, the radio frequency goes to the security center. The radio frequency would have gone to the head of local law enforcement, who then would share that information with everyone in the room. So it is alarming, of course, to hear that there were 2 calls of this suspicious individual. But what is important to find out is what was conveyed over that radio frequency. If the local law enforcement officer said, there's a man with a backpack, okay, there are tons of men with backpacks outside of rallies. If the local law enforcement officer said, there's a man with a rangefinder, that's a different story. We need to know precisely what was said. According to my source, what he is hearing is there was a report that there was local law enforcement activity at 3 o'clock. So the president's on the stage, 3 o'clock means off to the right of the stage, there was local law enforcement activity. So we need to gather those details. Final point here, the counter sniper on the roof, I'm told, had a line of sight issue. He could see the head, he could see the neck, and when he got the clear shot on this individual within 3 seconds, shot this individual through the neck and ended his life and neutralized the threat. These are the level of details we're getting, and we'll find out more in the coming days.
And that's helpful. That the follow-up question to that, Kaylee, would be, well, why the timing on when he did fire? Was there anything to delay his response to seeing somebody already bear crawling across a roof, people down below shouting about it with a gun? Like, I don't know if you wait for that individual to fire. I'm not sure where that command comes down to fire or not. Leslie, your thoughts?
You know, I flew from Boston 2 days ago to Los Angeles. Huge sign at the airport, if you see something, say something. And that is a phrase we're all familiar with since 9/11. It's interesting, Emily, sometimes you and I think alike, and I immediately was thinking about how many mass shootings. I thought about Uvalde, and I thought about time. Kaylee speaks about the time. Emily speaks about the time. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking at, the time. You have, according to the local sheriff who reported to the local CBS affiliate KDKA, that one of the snipers, with local law enforcement, took a picture. How long did that take to get up the chain of command? Did they receive it? Did they receive it in time? It goes to time. Again, with time, allegedly the shooter pointed his rifle at local law enforcement. Allegedly, one of those officers then fell from the roof, and within just seconds, that is when they say that the shooting started toward former President Donald Trump. So again, the time, how fast this goes, and that's, I think, what Americans want, regardless of their political ideology.
Yeah.
They want answers to what happened in those seconds, in those minutes, and to Charlie and everyone's point, if you see something, say something, people saw something, they said something, what happened then?
Yeah. What happened in the use of the time between what they said they saw and what action should have been taken?
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.